If you're an early stage SaaS founder, there's really one thing that matters. It's reaching product market fit. But here's the thing, product market fit, or as we lovingly call it, PMF, is ever elusive. No one quite really knows what it is, but when you're in it, you're like, yup, this is it, we have product market fit. And sometimes you can even lose product market fit after getting it. So here's a big question. How do you actually know whether you're in product market fit? How do you actually get to product market fit? How should you navigate this Shawshank crawl, as I like to call it, to product market fit? On today's episode, I'm gonna dig into the 3 principles that you absolutely need to know on navigating and getting to product market fit. And when you follow these 3 principles, you will be able to make sure that you don't lose months building the wrong product, going after the wrong market, hoping that product market fit is right around the corner. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you are new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of this channel, if you're part of this community, if you're part of my coaching programs, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. So here's the thing. Everyone's got a little bit of a different definition of product market fit, which is what makes it so elusive to actually go after. Some describe it in a very scientific way, like 40% of users surveyed said that they will be very disappointed if they couldn't use the product anymore. That's when you know you have product market fit. They'd be very disappointed, 40% of them. On the other hand, others will describe it more as a feeling. They're like, well, it's when you're not pushing uphill into the market anymore, when the market's pulling you. That's when you know you've got product market fit, because the market really wants what you're selling. To me, the definition of PMF is pretty simple. It's when you're selling a product and the market really wants it, they use it, and they tell other people about it. When you start to see those 3 things happening over and over and over, that means you have product market fit. All of a sudden, you're not pushing into the market saying, hey, you gotta buy this, and it's a hard sell. All of a sudden, you're like, this is what we do, and here's what we solve. And they're like, oh my God, please give me that. And they use it, and they love the product, and they tell more other people about it, and they come to you and they say, hey, I hear you have this product that solves this problem, I want it. That is product market fit. Having gone through multiple companies that hit product market fit, having scaled them and exited them, having helped countless founders navigate their Shawshank crawl to product market fit and initial revenues, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles you absolutely need to know to actually navigate this path. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's dig into principle number 1. So principle number 1, and this is the biggest, most important thing I try to instill in founders that I learned the hard way, and I'm sharing it here so that you don't make the same mistakes, is that you should ask people to buy as early as possible. And this is one of the biggest mistakes people make, because I meet a lot of founders, and I've been guilty of this as well. It's like, oh, we interviewed 100 people and they all said that they would love this, so we started building it, but now we can't sell it. We need to go to market. We need a better salesperson. We need better marketing. The truth of the matter is, when we go and approach people and say, hey, if we were to build this thing, would you buy it? A lot of times they don't want to be mean, so they'll just say, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. But until you go to them and ask them to swipe the credit card or sign the contract or actually do a pilot with you and pay for it, until you ask them to buy, you won't really know if you're gonna really hit product market fit. And what ends up happening is you do a lot of user surveys and customer surveys and these discovery calls, and people don't really want to be on those calls, and they're thinking in theory, they don't have any skin in the game, they're kind of giving you their opinions, but they're not really thinking about, okay, do I actually want this or not, because they have no skin in the game. They're not having to swipe the credit card. And so what ends up happening is you do all of that, and then you spend months building this product that all these people said they would love to have, and then you go back to them and they're like, yeah, no. And that's essentially where a lot of the traps are in navigating this path to product market fit. So my principle number 1 that I get founders to think about right away is ask people to buy as early in the process as possible. This means that if you're in the product development phase, you need to have 2 streams running. You need to actually be thinking about, how do we actually build out our go-to-market? How do we go after our target market? How do we position this product? How do we get people interested in a pilot or an early trial or just a 1-year deal that we give them as a discount so they get into the product as soon as it's ready? You need to do that in parallel so that you can ask people to buy as early as possible and stress test the market and stress test that idea. And that way, One, you won't end up wasting months building the wrong product because you'll test early that people are not willing to pay for whatever you're building. And two, you may actually get to a better form of the idea and your product will be better because it's grounded in actual people that have skin in the game and are willing to pay for what you're building. So that's principle number one. Ask people to buy and actually ask people to actually pay as you're validating the idea and as you're getting into building the product, because otherwise they may be lying to you. And that will throw you off in your journey and you might waste months in your product development process. Principle number two is you need to be intentional about your target markets. And I put S markets in parentheses because you could have more than one market that you're testing initially. This is the market in product market fit. And not to oversimplify this, but I think that we get so caught up in all these fancy definitions of things and the measurements of these things. If you just look at the word and the phrase product market fit, what does it mean? You have a product, there's a market, and it fits, meaning that market really wants that product. And so what part of going about this journey is being very intentional about who your target market is. And this is not getting as granular about your ideal customer profile. That comes a little bit later. This is really about getting clear on what is the market we're going after, what is the urgent and important problem we're solving, and what are the markets that exist where we could position this product. Again, you'll notice that this is not about building the product, but it's about building the go-to-market around the product and having a thesis around that and testing that so that you're building the right product. And big part of that, principle number two, is being very intentional about your target markets. Writing it out, like who are our target markets? How are we gonna test into each of these? Which one's better than the other? How does that impact our product decisions and what we're building? What are we not doing? What are we doing? What do we need to prioritize? Do we need SOC 2 compliance because we're going after the enterprise? Or do we just need to be self-service and swipe a credit card and no one cares about the security at the onset? We just need to get it done later. These are the kind of things you'll think about because that'll be part of you figuring out if you're gonna hit that product market fit or not. So that's principle number two. Now I have a third one, but before I go to principle number two, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this, right? So much of what we talk about in product market fit sits in the product part, but really the market and the go-to-market is just as important in these early stages. And if you don't do that, you may waste months building the wrong product because you're like, well, I had this problem and those 5 people told me they would love this product, but you didn't ask them to actually pay. So you don't know if they're telling the truth or if it's an important and urgent enough problem. And also you're not being clear about what the target market is, whether that 5 people is part of a meaningful market or it's just 5 randos that just lied to you. And that's the power in this. If you're starting to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? Also, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Now, if you're in this stage where you're pre-founder, you're trying to figure out this product market fit, you haven't quite generated revenues yet, nothing significant, or maybe you haven't gotten to that 10K MRR, then I run a webinar every single week that goes in depth into how to navigate this Shawshank crawl to product market fit and initial revenues. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video. You don't have to go anywhere right now. Let's go to principle number 3. You can also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Principle number 3 is you actually need to measure your progress as you test and iterate. So I was looking at our metrics. Mondays are metrics days for me for everything we do here at Unstoppable across our coaching programs, our clients, the software we have. And one of the things I noticed was we had this landing page for this webinar, the webinar I just told you about, and one was completely outperforming the other. Like one was a 70% conversion rate and the other was a 16% conversion rate. And the thing was, I forgot that I put that variation in place. And this is what happens a lot of times. When you're navigating the Shawshank crawl to product market fit, you're like testing and iterating. You're changing the messaging, you're positioning it a little bit. You're going after trying different markets. And the truth of the matter is, us as humans and our human brains aren't very good at remembering all the tests that we've done and all the permutations. And sometimes things can actually outperform, but because it happens over such a long period of time, you tend to forget about it and you over-index on something that happened yesterday. So you have this recency bias. This happened to me also until I looked at the numbers, and this is why I have time set aside to look at the core metrics and the key experiments I'm running, because it helps me understand, hey, things happen over time, and when we collect enough data, then we can really see what's moving and what's not. And that's my message to you, because this was very real for me earlier when I was reviewing this. You need to actually establish what your metrics are and measure your progress as you test and iterate on the path to product market fit. And if you don't do this, then you'll miss a turn, essentially. And so as you're thinking about, am I asking people to buy? How many people did I ask? How many of them said yes? How many of them said no? What did they say? Why did they say no? Am I actually being intentional about the people that I'm talking to and what markets are they part of? How many of them are converting? How many of them are not? What's the feedback we've gotten? All of those things you need to put it all down and measure it in a certain way. Because if you don't measure these things over a period of time, you'll kind of miss the forest for the trees. And what you won't be able to do is really see the differences, these wiggles that happen, and where you're like, you know what? That worked better. Let's try more of that. And let's cut this one out and double down on it because I think this will actually be more effective. So if you're a pre-founder and you're getting to this product market fit phase, you're working towards that, you're getting the initial revenues, let's recap the 3 principles you absolutely need to know. Number 1, ask people to buy as early as possible. Don't just ask them for user research. Half of them are lying to you, if not more. That's the truth. You won't really know until you say, hey, would you do a $1,000 pilot or a $10,000 pilot? Number 2, you want to be intentional about your target markets. There could be more than one that your product could be a good fit for. There could be subsets of the market, so think through that and be intentional about that. And number 3, as you are bringing your product to the market, as it's being built, start to think about the go-to-market and start to engage these people, ask them to buy, and keep track of who you're engaging and what they're saying and what you're learning and what you're tweaking. Are you changing the landing page? Are you changing your value proposition? Are you changing how you position the product? And look at what's actually moving as you do it over a period of time. Only then will you actually be able to tell the patterns and you'll be able to make decisions based on data instead of just saying, well, the guy yesterday really went for it, so let's go find more of those people. And whereas, maybe that person is just a snowflake, meaning a unique person that no other like that exists and it's not part of a key market. So you will never reach product market fit even though you got $1. And so those are the 3 principles. Number 1, ask people to buy. Number 2, be intentional about the target markets. And number 3, measure the progress as you go. Those are 3 principles you absolutely need to know. What you may not know is, well, how do I ask people to buy? What is my value proposition? How do I communicate what our software really does as we're building it? What you may not know is, how do I think about the key markets we can go after? How do we position ourselves in what part of the market? Which market do I pick between the options that I have? What you also may not know is what metrics matters. How do I actually measure the right metrics? So if you're in that stage, if you're a pre-founder and you're building out the product, you're trying to get to product market fit and initial revenues, then you're probably wondering these pieces. This is why I run a detailed webinar every single week. Inside of this webinar, I go in depth into exactly what it takes to go from 0 to initial revenues and drive to product market fit. It's completely free. There's no strings attached. All you need to do is just go to tkcater.com/webinar. When you go to this webinar, I'll go in depth into exactly the process I follow to actually go from 0 to some revenues, how I think about the key components, how I flesh those out. So just go to tkcater.com/webinar, and over there, you'll be able to register for the next session, and we'll go in depth into exactly how I think about getting to product market fit, and I'll go deeper into these principles. Now, if you also got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Also, I drop an episode like this every single Sunday with actionable strategies on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so that you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. If you have a fellow founder, if you have a fellow team member that will get value from this video and other videos we have in this channel, please share it with them. My team and I put a lot of love into these videos. It means the world to us when we can help as many SaaS founders as possible. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode or inside of that 45-minute webinar where we go in depth in how to get to initial revenues and product market fit for your SaaS business. The link is below, or just go to tkcater.com/webinar. See ya.